What's up, everybody? This is MJ, and welcome to our Tuesday broadcast. I first have to say, please forgive the way I sound right now because I have been sick. That's why I wasn't here last Thursday. I have been sick. I had a really bad cold and stuff cleaned out, but I did not want to wait any longer to get back to you guys to talk to you about how you can have your best boutique year ever, even though 2021 is almost halfway done. Have you looked at the calendar? It is June 22nd. That means we are almost halfway through the year. Have you gotten halfway to achieving the goals that you set for yourself in your boutique? If you have not, then I need you to tune in, get out a notepad and a pen, and write down what we're going to be talking about next, because these 5 keys we're going to be talking about are going to be pivotal to experiencing the success you want in your business. So often we have dreams, ladies, that we want to achieve. We want to work for ourselves. We want to bring our amazing product to the market. And we jump out there on a wing and a prayer and we get shot down. And that's because sometimes we don't know what it really takes to have the success that we want. We think it's just going to happen by chance. But today we're going to be talking about the 5 keys to turning that thing around, even though this year is halfway done. So you might be thinking, MJ, how is that even possible? If I want to do something that's going to take a year, how can these last 6 months make the difference? Well, the thing is, success is not necessarily a function of time. There's nothing that says it has to take. It's about what you do, how you apply what you know, and how you work and how you're consistent with what you know and what you do. And so you can take what you thought would have taken a year, and if you lean into it, you can knuckle down in the next 6 months and still have your best year ever in your boutique and still be ready to walk out the door on your boss whenever it is that you plan to do it. So buckle up. We're going to blast through these because I'm not all the way back 100%, and so I don't want to test it and think I'm going to make it all the way my usual amount of time. So let's get into it. I've kind of set up today's content in, I love a good list. I love a good set of things. And so today's set type is going to be a list of don'ts, right? These 5 keys to having your best boutique year ever are all going to start with the word don't. These are all things that you don't want to do. And normally I don't encourage people. Well, I just said don't. I encourage people to not look at what they want to accomplish in terms of what they don't want, but in terms of what they do want. However, in this case, for the sake of what we're talking about today, it's important to point out the traits and the activities that can be hurting you so you can know what to stop doing right now. If you're not doing these things, great. We're going to talk about what you should do and what you should continue to do to move towards your success. And the first don't that we're going to talk about is don't kid yourself. So what do I mean by kid yourself? Again, my target audience, the people I'm talking to right now, are Black women, specifically Black women who want to start your own shop or boutique, right? And Black women are notorious for falling victim to the strong Black woman caricature, that stereotype that really is so harmful. It's that stereotype that says I can do everything myself. And so because of that, it can be very difficult for us to ask for help. And it can also be difficult for us to accept or admit when we are not being truthful with ourselves. So a lot of times we look at the problem that we're having in our business, the fact that you don't even have a business yet, the fact that you started your business 6 months ago or 2 years ago, and you're still working your day job because you only make $100 every other month in your, hobby business or whatever that is. You tell yourself, it's not that bad. You tell yourself, if I just keep doing what I've been doing, eventually it's going to work out. And these are ways that we can kid ourselves, that you can kid yourself into believing you're on the right track when you're actually not on the right track. And then the other way you can kid yourself is that you can figure it out yourself. So those are the 3 big ones. It's not as bad as it looks. I can figure it out myself. And if I keep doing what I've been doing, eventually it's going to work. Those ways that you can kid yourself can be harmful. That I can figure it out myself. That's where that strong Black woman caricature comes in the strongest, the most, because we have convinced ourselves that everything is just something that I can crack the code. I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm invincible. And there are things that you can figure out on your own. There are things that you can YouTube. There are things that you can ask enough random people about, and they can give you some tips and advice, and you can figure some things out. Yes, there are things like that. But when it comes to setting yourself up for success in a business that's going to allow you to quit your job and still be able to take care of your family in a fashion that transcends homelessness, you need to not be just telling yourself, I can figure that out. Because think about it. For those of you who are college graduates or even attended at least 2 or 3 years of college, you recognize in that world that you didn't try to figure out your degree on your own. And it's not just because you can't confer your own degree. You realize you needed professors. You realize you needed tutors. You realize you needed teaching assistants, and you needed books, and you needed study groups and all these other things that come with the college experience in order to get the knowledge that translates into getting that degree conferred to you. So why is it when it comes time to build a 6-figure business, a boutique, where you're selling your dream product to the masses and it's flying off the shelves and you can't keep it in stock, that somehow you're going to be able to crack the code that where you can have the lifestyle freedom and flexibility you want, and you can just figure it out? If that were true, all the businesses would be succeeding. Nobody's boutiques would be going out of business. Your shop right now would be fine. That way that you're kidding yourself, that you can figure it out yourself, that is a damaging mindset that you need to let go of. And then if I keep at it long enough, eventually it will work. That's literally the definition of insanity, right? You're doing something right now and it's not working, but you figure if I keep doing it, eventually it will work. Now, there are some things, I will give this caveat, there are some things that just take a while to get off the ground. Yes. So you do need to continue and be consistent, and eventually your results will change. But just in general, what I have found in months and years of talking to women about these businesses and working with people is that the things you're doing that aren't working, they're never going to work when you're in the beginning, because usually you're figuring out yourself. And so the thing, if you just keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, it's never going to happen. And that's where insanity comes in. So again, that's another way we kid ourselves. And then the last way that you could be kidding yourselves, and I'm telling you to stop doing, is trying to convince yourself that it's not that bad. I talk to ladies all the time who have the little hobby shops, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna do this, that. I'm gonna be able to pay for college. I'm gonna be able to travel to Dubai. What is it with Dubai? Like, everybody wants to go to Dubai. I know it's a beautiful place, but this is a huge world out here. Like, we don't all have to go to Dubai. Are we all going for some kind of status look? And we trying to take certain kinds of pictures? I don't know. That's a different broadcast for a different page. But all these things that you're dreaming about doing, you have a reason on your heart why you want to do those things. It's usually something that you don't really want to verbalize or admit that's driving you to want this boutique, this shop so bad that you're willing to risk everything, give up a comfortable, safe job, and risk your family's future, because that's what entrepreneurship is. It's risky. There's no guarantees to have it. So when it's not succeeding and you tell yourself, turn my fan off. You tell yourself it's not that bad, you're not being honest. You're kidding yourself. Because if it wasn't a big deal, you would not be doing it. Nobody jumps out of a relatively safe canoe, that's what the job world is, and into choppy waters, that's what entrepreneurship is, that's what starting a business is, just for the heck of it. And when they get out there and they're going under, they don't say, well, this isn't that bad. At least I'm out here in the water. No, of course it's terrible when you don't succeed, because if you drown out there, there's a lot at stake. Your family's future is at stake. Your sanity and health are at stake, depending on what your current life is like. So you've got to stop kidding yourself that your aspiration, it's not that bad when I only made $50 the last 3 months, or it's up and down, it's unpredictable, or I can't even get started, or I have no idea what I'm doing, or I spent $2,000 on a sure thing and it didn't work out, and all the stuff that happens to people in the retail space. So the first key, I spent a lot of time on that one because it's so key that we get a hold of our mind before anything else is going to change. It's not about another great marketing hack. It's not about if I just do this one thing, everything's going to turn around. The one thing you need to do is get clear in here on what's really true. So you got to stop kidding yourself. That's the first key to having your best boutique year ever. The second one is to not leave yourself hanging. So I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to use the boat analogy. I know I love a good analogy, or if I'm going to use a builder analogy. But the bottom line about not leaving yourself hanging is it's almost like trying to build a house starting with the roof. Now, I don't know much about building. I had a house built 4 years ago. And what I know is on those trips when I made over here every other day to watch the project, there was no roof out there in space before there was a foundation here on the ground. They didn't put walls out here in the grass. They didn't just bring the appliances in. They didn't just on the dirt out there. No, the first thing they did was they built a solid foundation so they would not have a house that was just out here hanging. Because quite frankly, without the foundation, you don't have a house. See, if you were trying to picture what I was describing, you'd be like, well, no, MJ, they can't put a roof on nothing. That's not a house. That's shingles that are going to be on the ground. And you're right. And trying to build your six-figure boutique, because guess what? It needs to be a six-figure boutique if you're going to be able to take care of you and your family with the proceeds. Okay. So thinking that you're going to build your six-figure boutique just by throwing a roof on it, like just by having a website or just by throwing some pictures on Instagram, because that's what it is. That's the same thing. Is you just putting a roof out there. You just throwing some pictures on, you just going live on Facebook every once in a while and thinking that's a business. Or you go out and rent a retail space and start paying somebody rent every month because you just hope if you have a kiosk in the mall, that's going to make your boutique all of a sudden exist. That's the same thing as just throwing a roof, trying to build a roof on a empty lot, or just putting walls on grass and calling it a house. You can't, and that's why you will be leaving yourself hanging if you do that. If you just go about it half-cocked at it without doing the work that it takes to set up a successful business. Now, I know there are a lot of influencers and so-called gurus and experts and all these people. I see their videos every once in a while. Their stuff falls through my news feed. I don't click on it. But I know there's a lot of people out there will tell you, oh, it don't take all that. You don't need to do this or that to have a business. You can just spend $99 and you can have a successful business. You don't need a plan. Just do it. Your friends and family. Oh, you don't need to spend all that time planning. Just go ahead and just do it. Just do something. Eventually it'll kind of work out. Those are lies from the pits of business hell. It's not true. You can do something. You can spend a lot of time and money, but guess what? You're going to either do the work up front, lay the foundation, or later on you will be left hanging and you'll still have to do the work later. Like, you cannot avoid it. It's like, again, trying to get that degree without going to class, without doing the homework, without doing the papers, taking the exams, talking to the teachers, never showing up. But all of a sudden you're going to have the education, or thinking you're just going to get a job, but you're not going to apply. You're not going to go to the interview. You're just going to, all of a sudden, money's going to start rolling in. Like, those concepts sound ridiculous. But the way a lot of people out here are approaching a business that they say they want to use to support, create a lifestyle and income and flexibility, that's essentially what people are out here doing, or just thinking that you're going to ease into it somehow, that without doing the work, somehow it's just going to work out. You're going to be an overnight success. That is not how it works. And MJ cares enough about you, whoever you are out there, Black woman, to tell you the truth. You cannot cheat the system. It's like trying to lose 50 pounds in 2 days or whatever. I don't care what the product is. Unless you're cutting off a limb, you cannot shortchange weight loss. You can do it temporarily, but what happens with those lose weight quick things? Don't the weight come back fast? Soon as you get off of the little pill or the drink or the fad, it comes back when you go back to the old ways, because you didn't really lay a foundation for success in the future with the weight loss or with the new health lifestyles. The same thing with your business. So the second key is, do not leave yourself hanging by not having a solid foundation for your boutique. If you want it to last, if you just want to do it as a hobby, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who are so sick of working your job and so sick of somebody telling you you can only be off 2 weeks a year, that you about to lose it and you need your freedom. That's the people I'm talking about. When you want your boutique bad enough, you don't want to leave yourself hanging. The third key is, I thought I was not going to be able to sustain myself my normal amount of time, but I guess I am. I guess I'm feeling better than I thought. I missed you guys last Thursday. That's what it was. Do not skip anything. So this kind of goes along with the last one. Don't leave yourself hanging. Give yourself a foundation. But this one's a little different. This is talking about doing things in the right order, doing all the things you need to do when you need to do them, and leaving out the things you don't need to be doing. Don't skip anything, and really don't add anything extra just to say you did it. So here's what's true. Again, there's a lot of information on the internet everywhere about how to start a successful retail business. And you're probably like, I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to listen to, or you're listening to the right person if you're watching this video. So let's keep going at it. But the thing is, there's 1,001 steps to really establishing yourself in the retail marketplace. It really, and you can do the right things at the wrong time. You can do the wrong things, period. You can leave things out. You can do too much and mess yourself up. And you don't want to do that. You want to have a system that you can follow step by step. Kind of like, because it's what's here in my hand. I bought some lighting for my house the other day, and they sent some instructions with it. Now, I didn't need to read these particular instructions because you can look at the lights and tell how to install them. But let's say they were more complex, or it was something that had to truly be assembled. Well, I can just skip to the last page of the assembly instructions and try to do those last things. I'm not going to have a good outcome, depending on how involved the product is that's being assembled or operated. It might not even exist if you don't start from step one, or it might malfunction, or it just might not turn on at all or do what it's intended to do. And so they give you steps, they number them. Well, these aren't numbered, so this isn't the best prop right now, but they will number the steps in the order you need to do them. They'll show you pictures, and they don't go hand by hand. You know, they're not there side by side with you, but depending on how good the instructions are, and if there might be a YouTube video involved, you know you're doing everything right because you're following a system, a set of step actions, a process, a procedure. The same is true of starting your business. You don't want to skip anything. So you need to have a system to start your business or to start your boutique. And I call my system, right? Because it helps you start your shop. Everything from A to Z of how to start an effective retail shop. Not a get rich quick scheme, not an overnight success, because there's no such thing, but something that you can follow step by step, so you don't have to worry about, well, did I forget that? Because see, here's what's true. A lot of the hesitation that you have in your business startup process is not only about what you don't know, it's about the fear of making a mistake, because you know there's a very good chance you will make a mistake because you're winging it, because you're just kind of somebody said I need to do that, so I'm gonna do it. Like, why are you listening to that? How does that work within a cohesive process? Again, I'm gonna use a degree as an example. When I got my biology degree 2,000 years ago, it seemed like 2,000 years ago, actually it wasn't that long ago, they didn't put me into genetics and microbiology the first semester. They put me in biology and general biology and general chemistry. Why? I needed to take those things in that order as building blocks for what I was going to be doing in year 3, year 4. And they knew that. The school, they created the course sequence and I followed it. I didn't have to worry about year 3, freshman year. I didn't even know what I was supposed to be taking in those years. I didn't even know if I was still going to be a biology major those years. And I almost wasn't. But that day one, all I had to worry about was those 4 classes that I had to show up for. I didn't have to worry about it because I had a system for gaining this knowledge. And that's what you need. You don't want to skip anything. If I'd skip general biology and just been like, oh yeah, let me just jump on the genetics. I don't need to take all that. I wouldn't have gotten it. I would have failed. So the same is true. Do not skip any steps. Make sure you have a system for starting a boutique successfully if you want it to last. If you're just trying to do a side gig, you don't need to do all that. Go spend some money, buy some stuff, and hope that people buy it, right? But if you really want to succeed as a retail entrepreneur, you don't want to skip anything. The fourth key is don't get stuck where you are. So here is a big one, because a lot of retail entrepreneurs or would-be retail entrepreneurs, maybe they do kind of finally crack the code on how to get started, and they figure out how to get enough people to buy $1,000 or $2,000 worth of stuff every so often. But they don't know how to evolve into more, how to expand on that, because unless you live in a really low cost of living, which I don't even think exists, you're not going to be able to survive the long term off those first little levels of success. And that's because it's not meant to be that way. It's meant for you to evolve as an entrepreneur. And also what you do as a hobby, or what you do in those early days while you still have the relative security of your job and you know that income is coming in, won't be able to transfer into full-time entrepreneurship when now you are counting on your success in your boutique to sustain your family and to create that lifestyle that you're dreaming about. So knowing how to start, and then knowing how to survive as an entrepreneur and thrive, not just survive, but thrive, and how to make the leap from one to the other, that's three different things. And a lot of business startup gurus are not helping people to make that transition. They're not helping people to prepare to be entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is not like being an employee. It's nothing like it. It's all the opposite stuff. It's all the opposite stuff that most employees don't know about. And it's okay. You don't have to be necessarily born with an entrepreneurial mindset or just instinctively know how to be an entrepreneur, how to be self-employed. However, to succeed at it, you've got to learn, what are those traits? What are those habits? What are those action steps? That know some names out there. I'm going to try to go for Black women off the top of my head that make a Rihanna, Beyonce, that make these women who are successful in owning businesses. So when I'm thinking about those ladies right now, I'm not thinking about them as musicians. I'm talking about the businesses that they own, the clothing lines, the whatever, beyond just the music. Although the music, well, things about those people that allow them to succeed. They got popular because they already had a lot of what they needed to succeed in that space. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of grit and tenacity. It takes a lot of traits that people who are employed do not naturally cultivate, because jobs don't require you to have those things, not in the same form. And so you have to learn how to not stay stuck where you are here, or it will keep you stuck in the physical. If you take your employee mindset into your business, you will not succeed as a business owner. The loneliness alone will kill you, because it's very different. You think you want out of your job, and you probably do for legitimate reasons, but are you prepared to evolve into what that will look like? Because it seems like it's all well and good. You work for yourself, you make your own hours, you call your own shots. But just like everything else that comes at a cost, prepared for it. And so don't get stuck where you are is the fourth key to having the best boutique year ever. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck in that penny ante stuff. And ultimately, you will self-sabotage. You might wonder why your sales aren't growing. You're probably sabotaging yourself because you know you're not ready for that other stuff, because you don't even know what it looks like. Do not get stuck where you are. Make sure you know where you're going and how to sustain and grow in that new space. And then the fifth and final key to having your best boutique year ever is don't go it alone. Don't go it alone. We've talked about don't kid yourself. We've talked about don't leave yourself hanging. We've talked about don't skip anything. and then don't get stuck where you are. Well, guess what? The people who unwittingly do those things are the people who are out here going it alone, who don't know how to implement any of the things I've talked about today. And that's because, contrary to popular belief, you cannot in 30 minutes or even in 30 days even begin to prepare for self-employed entrepreneurship as a retail boutique owner, because it's more to it than that. Any more than you can prepare for a successful marriage in only 30 minutes or 30 days of dating. Although some people do it, I'm not saying it, but do you want to take a chance on being that small minority, or prepare for that degree or for that career in only 30 minutes or 30 days or whatever that short time period is? This is the microwave society that wants everything quick and everything easy, and it doesn't happen that way. You need somebody who can walk with you and show you how to change up here, and then what things to do in your business so that you can succeed. Who's got a lot of time and money to waste on trial and error, right? You're either going to invest in your success, or you're going to blow time and money on your failure. And even if it takes you 10 or 15 years to get there, how much less of your life on that other side and that dream are you going to be able to enjoy because you insisted on doing it the hard way? Do not go it alone. Do not insist, like so many strong Black women, that you can do it on your own. I'll figure it out, MJ. I got this. I'm just going to do this. I saw a girl on Instagram. My cousin said, is your cousin a multiplied millionaire in the space that you want to work in? Don't listen to them. Don't listen to some. And it doesn't even matter about the money that they make, but are they in the space as an expert in what you want to do? Don't go it alone, and don't listen to people who do not have your best interest at heart and working in the space that you want to succeed in. Everybody's running Facebook ads out here is not successful in retail. I'll say that again. I don't care if they got 2,000 comments on their ad. Just because they're running ads does not mean that you should do what you see them doing, unless you have intimate knowledge of their back office and their bank account that's attached to the sales that they are making. You can't assume that what they're doing can work for you. You don't know their backstory. You don't know what they're doing, what they've struggled through, what they're hemorrhaging out the back door. And it's not for you to know. Buy their stuff if you want to. But if you want to be successful, don't go it alone out here trying to wing it because it seems like it's easier. It's a cheap route. I'm just going to try to piece it together. You wouldn't try to piece your degree together. You wouldn't try to piece your house together. Hopefully, you wouldn't try to piece your relationship together. Why not put the same dedication, business that you say that you want to turn into a lifestyle, income, and flexibility that, surpasses any of your wildest dreams? If you really want that, and you want your business to be a serious reflection of the dreams that you have for yourself, for your family, then I invite you to reach out now and book your free breakthrough interview with me right now at MelanieHunter.com/chat. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about these 5 keys that we've talked about today. How many of these don'ts have you been doing? And guess what? We're not going to stay there. We're going to look at what you're not doing what you're doing that's not working, but then we're going to go to the solution. Because I'm the type, we can talk all day about what's not working, but what do you want? How bad do you want it? Do you want it now? Because I'm only talking to people who want it now. If you're just curious, I want to do this in 6 months, I'm just wondering, I'm not ready, I'm not your girl. I'm looking for people who are done experimenting, they're done wasting time, you're done wasting money, you're done trying to guess what everybody else is doing and believing the hype on social media, but not really knowing from a business standpoint what's going on behind the scenes. If that's you, book a call with me, fill out that application. I need that so your call can be as productive as possible. And let's have a conversation. If you're serious about your business, then this will be the best 45 minutes you ever spent planning your book. Don't keep spending money on inventory you won't be able to sell. Don't keep wasting money on fancy websites and a bunch of stuff that's weeks and weeks away from what you should be working on right now. Stop telling yourself it's not that bad or that you can. Don't go it alone. Let somebody help you. www.melaniehunter.com/chat. That's my calendar. I've got some spots open in the next few days. I'm going to be doing some traveling, so there may be some limited availability, but just go out to wherever my calendar is. If you can't find a spot, just book what you can see and then email me when you get your confirmation, and I can manually change your time to when it will actually work for you if the time is not available on my calendar. But anyway, I look forward to talking to you. I'm glad to be back. Thank you for bearing with me with my stuffy voice today. But I am looking forward to helping you to have your best boutique year ever in 2021, even though it's over. We've talked about the 5 keys. You've got to be willing to stop doing those things and start doing the right thing. And the first right thing you need to do is to book your call, get on my calendar, and let's talk soon. It's been my pleasure to share with you. I will be back again later this week with another training broadcast. I hope you'll join me. Take care. Bye-bye.